Now we'll talk about opioids. So I'll begin by sharing some common names of opioids in northern India, including Delhi. So the names are afim, doda, khattu, buggi, smack, heroin, puria, chitta, saman, kala mal, nagni, kali mai, kala mal, posht, and brown sugar. So these are the common names of opioids in this part of India, northern India, that we know them of commonly. Any name that I might have missed? Any name in addition to these names that you know of? So what are opioids? Opioid is a depressant, which means it slows down the messaging between the brain and our body. Opium is hardened juice from opium poppy plant. The source is a plant, poppy plant. Heroin from poppy plant following a chemical process is produced. Pharmaceutical opioids, these are artificial substances often copying a natural product, which is heroin. So what do opioids look like? Heroin is normally a white or off-white powder, or granules like sugar or small rocks. Opium, it's sticky, hard, it could be hard, dark brown material in any form or shape. Pharmaceutical opioids commonly are liquids or powders, either in the liquid form or in the powder form. The most common way to use them or having opioids is injecting, but they can also be snorted or taken through the nose, or they can be smoked. So there are some short-term effects, like other drugs, there are some short-term effects. So short-term effects are slurred and slow speech, reduced appetite and vomiting, relaxation and drowsiness. So there are more short-term effects: intense pleasure, lot of happiness; tremendous pleasure, lot of happiness; trouble in concentrating on anything; and slower breathing. It affects the way we breathe. Breathing becomes slower. There are also some long-term effects, which include sadness, feeling sad, constipation, and your dependence. So it's difficult to stay without them. You become dependent. As the use increases, the heart gets damaged, lungs get damaged, liver gets damaged, brain gets damaged, veins not working due to injecting, repeated injections. Risk of getting HIV, might have heard of a health condition, HIV, it's an infection, and hepatitis, which is inflammation of the liver due to sharing of needles. If people are going to use needles and share needles, it may lead to HIV and hepatitis because of sharing the needles during injecting. One of the major negative consequences of opioids is if mixing opioids with other drugs, such as, for example, excessive drinking of alcohol greatly increases the risk of overdose, which may lead to death, overdose death, as a result of stopping breathing. The person may stop breathing. So if you mix opioids with alcohol, and in the process one may lose breathing, and which means the heart will stop functioning which means the person may die. So that was opioids. Now what we will discuss is sedatives. We just discussed about the opioids. Now what we will discuss is sedatives. Sedatives, again, they have some common names that I will just share with you. Some of the common names that sedatives, these are the drugs which are available, which you may get from a chemist shop, a druggist shop, a pharmacy. They include Finargan, Diazepam, Evil, Fortwin, Goli, Khaki, 10 number, Alprex, नींद की दवाई which is sleeping tablets, Tiddi, Badam, Saman, Tota, Choba, Cipla, Feed, Kaju. These are some of the names of sedatives, sleeping tablets. So the commonly sedatives are taken either swallowed or injected. So either you take it orally through your mouth or you inject them. Sedatives are depressants. As far as the category of drug is concerned, psychoactive drugs, these are depressants. They slow down the messaging between the brain and our body. Commonly, they are prescribed by the doctors to relieve stress and anxiety and to also help people in sleeping. Some people may have difficulties in sleeping, so they may be prescribed to have certain medication for sleeping. So these are the sedatives which are prescribed by the doctors as well. They come in different forms. Mostly they look like tablets. They could be capsules, and some are liquids inside the capsules. So there are some short-term effects of sedatives. So relief of stress, and tension. You feel isolated, feeling isolated. Depression, and confusion, headache, you feel sleepy, and you feel dizzy. More short-term effects are not clear with the thinking, the way we think. We are not clear about our thoughts. Blurred vision, lack of energy. Some short-term effects are dependence, personality change, irritated, and not thinking clearly. Okay, so that was the short-term effects. Long-term effects, dependence, irritated, and not thinking clearly. These are the long-term effects of sedatives. Other long-term effects are memory loss, anxiety, feeling worried, and depression, and difficulty in breathing, in sleeping. Difficulty in sleeping. So now we'll discuss about the cough mixtures. Again, cough mixtures has some common names in this part of the country, which is Fincy, Corex, Torex, syrup, tonic, CC, Shishi, RC, Fancy, Sonpari. So these are the common names for cough mixture in northern India. Any name that you can think of, you might have heard of cough mixture.
Terbutaline.
It's a liquid and it comes in the range of colors. It could be blue and some other color as well. It's a medication to treat cough and related conditions. Many brands use codeine in the form of cough syrups. Some cough and medicines are mind altering at higher than recommended dose. Codeine, which is the main drug which is found in the cough mixtures, is an opioid and effective for cough, but if misused can lead to dependence. So common ways of having cough mixture is swallowed, you take it orally, from your mouth. Some people mix cough syrup with flavored drinks or even sometimes alcohol as well. So it has short-term effects. Some of the short-term effects are sickness in stomach upset, or vomiting, feeling dizzy, and diarrhea. More short-term effects are some allergic reactions, slurred speech, blurred vision, not being able to see properly, relaxed and calm. There are also some long-term effects of having cough mixtures. There is a mental health condition which we may call psychosis, seeing or hearing things that do not exist. Depression, physical and psychological dependence, needing more of a drug when not required. So every next time one would have cough mixtures, you need more of it. So you get gradually dependent on cough mixtures. Long-term effects, stopping of heart and breathing, brain damage. Cough mixtures with codeine when used as prescribed or short-term to reduce coughing is very effective and acceptable. When any medicine such as cough mixtures with codeine are used without a doctor's prescription, negative consequences arise and that can lead to dependence. So we have a situation now. We have one small case scenario which we will share with you. We would like to have your response to few questions, that what would you do if your friend, if someone you know lands up in such situation, what would you do? How would you help that particular person? So there is this situation. Situation is you and your friends are worried about a friend who seems to smoke cannabis each weekend and is also taking cough mixture with codeine during the week. You all know that your friend has been missing school because of this, borrowing money to buy it, and has dropped out of lot of activities from the school that he used to do with you. Lot of activities this student used to do with you, but he has now of late dropped out of those activities because of these two things. On weekends, he is having cannabis. It seems that he is having cannabis. You are not very sure, but you have some information to suggest that that is happening. And weekdays, he is having codeine with cough mixture. Okay. So the question is, what do you think are the possible harms to your friend in this situation?
He is medically unfit because he is out of many activities which earlier he could do very well. So he is out of the activities in school. So he is medically unfit now.
First, you have to think what are the possible harms to your friend? What are the harms to him because of this particularly? Cannabis use and cough mixture.
His posture, his ability to stand, his stamina is very low.
Okay. So overall health, overall well-being will be affected. Okay. Anything else? What else may happen to your friend? Yes, she has something to share.
He lost his many of years of his life. Lost his life.
Okay, so he may lose his life. He may lose many years of his life if he continues.
Many years, yes.
All right, yes.
It will harm his all organs.
It will harm his organs.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he or she get fatigue easily.
Okay, will feel tired easily. All right. Okay. Somebody wants to share on this side? Yes.
It is a trouble to grow the brain development.
And it will affect his growth and development. Okay. Second question, think of 3 options, choices that would help you to manage the situation and reduce the possible harm to your friend. Please understand, you got to know the person is having cannabis on the weekend. On the weekends, the person is having a cough mixture which has codeine, because of which now he is not taking interest in the activities that he used to take interest in earlier. So he is still in the school, he is still with you in your school. Now, while he is still in your school, while he is still with you, what are the options, 3 options, think of 3 options or the choices that would help you to manage the situation and reduce the possible harm to your friend. So these are the 3 ways in which you can help your friend, or 3 things that you may want to do that you would help your friend to still stay away from the harm and to still stay in the school and get over with the situation, overcome the problems. What are the 3 things? Any 3 things, any 3 choices that you may want to make which will be in the interest of your friend in this situation?
For example, he used to play with me football, and now he avoid that game because he thinks is very much tiredness after he feels very much tiredness after playing that game.
Okay.
And another situation will be he participate with me a lot with quizzes and very much competitive exam. Now he feel that is very well and more competitive, tough. So he's avoiding these kind of things. Earlier he used to do that with me. And third case, I will guess. His schedule of working and his meal. He's avoiding healthy food instead of he's more into things which can harm him in many other ways, like junk food, and because he ultimately he loses his determination power.
Okay, so he is losing determination power, he is losing interest in activities that he was doing with you, as an example. But what I want to know from you, as far as the second question is concerned, what are some of the options, what are some of the ways in which you would like to help your friend? How would you help this friend in this situation? What could you do in this situation? You have something to add?
First, we will discuss with him that what is the problem, why are you taking it.
Okay.
And second thing is that when we are discussing, we have to careful that if we get something wrong, he think that she was telling me something wrong, and it was not good. Sometimes he don't know that what causes he will get from that. Sometimes he start taking it and he don't get that what he was doing. So we have to tell him that it was not good, it was very bad for you, it was bad for your body also. So when we start, we have to think about it, and when our friend start, we have to discuss with him that what's the problem, why you started, who said to you, who advise you, like that. So
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. She said very critical points. She said that she will discuss with the friend, she'll be sensitive with the friend in discussion, she'll be mindful of how to discuss, what to talk, how to take up the topic. She also discussed about what could have been the reasons for him to get into using cannabis or using cough mixtures. She would like to know. Then she would like to discuss who are these friends who might have introduced him to maybe cannabis and maybe to cough mixtures, who may have introduced these drugs, these may have landed up this person in this situation. She also spoke of very important aspects, is that we have to talk about the positive aspects of a person, that you were taking interest, you were part of all our activities, you were a great buddy in the classroom. What has happened, why you are not taking interest in the classroom, what is causing you to get into this habit of getting into cannabis. So these are the very useful and meaningful ways in which we certainly can help our friend to stay away from the harms, further harms of cannabis use or the cough mixture, and ensure that the student does not drop out, still stays in the classroom, which is why being sensitive in the process is extremely important. You want to add anything else?
We should sensitive, because if we say him directly, then he thought that she was telling me something wrong, and he get mad at them and
Yeah.
start fighting also. It
Yes.
happens also. That's why we have to be
So
sensitive.
we have to be sensitive. We have to be not only sensitive, we have to be not be judgmental at all. And we have to be sensitive and not be aggressive, not make the person feel bad about what the person is doing, yet be able to convey the message in terms of what are the causes, what could happen if you continue with this cannabis use, what may happen. So you will discuss about the health consequences associated with cannabis use, long term, short term, dependence, that one may get dependent. One may also lose education, because if you at some point, if you do not stop, right now the person may have withdrawn from the activities in the school. Tomorrow the person may drop out from the school itself, so you may lose the opportunity of getting educated in a school. Loss of money, you are going to use money to procure the, either irrespective of you procuring the cannabis or procuring the cough mixtures, you are going to lose money. And you may lose your friends, the friends that you have. While you may lose your school, while you may lose your education, you may also lose us as friends who are with you. And you may become isolated, and there might be problems at home once the family gets to know, once the parents get to know. Options could be that we may alert the friend, as you rightly pointed out, and discuss the risks associated with it and the negative consequences, particularly feeling the need to provide the information and speak privately. We should speak with such people, with such friends privately, not in public, and be very sensitive, as she rightly pointed out. That's very important. Provide support to a friend, because person is still our friend, person is still part of our class. Checking with a friend if agree to get help. If they want to get help, you may want to help them in getting some professional support. Go and talk with someone who has more information and knowledge about the subject. And not rejecting the friend at all, as this is likely to encourage them into further get into the drug use further. It will not help them at all if we reject them and if we are uncomfortable with their behavior. And we may also want to discuss with this friend particularly about how we as friends can help them to reduce the drug use. The fact that the person is having cannabis on the weekends, how you can reduce it. The person is having the cough mixtures during the weekdays, how can you reduce them? And how you can get involved in the activities more. So these are some of the ways in which we can help our friends who may get into this kind of situation that we have just discussed with you.